Hello, so today I'll be going over CP Steel, which is the current map in the Highlander rotation. So moving on to A, we're going to start with our callouts. This is Cliff, this is Shack, and this is Long. This is the control point, and this is Windows. And lastly, this is drop down. Drop down only opens after you capture the A point. Moving on, we have choke on point B. The spawn area for blue team, so I call this blue spawn. Ladders. You have the point. You have truck. You have another set of windows. I also call these windows, but it's fine to have two different windows callouts because this is only relevant when you're fighting on the B point. Then this is red spawn. And those are all the callouts for B. Moving on to C, you have Beck or elbow, depending on your team's preference. You have under, which has a full pack. You have the point. You have cliff over there. You have balcony with a half health pack. Finally, you have C spawn. D callouts, you have death hallway, which is what I'm walking through right now. D point, D spawn, and tunnel. This is called IT or lobby, and this is A side. Moving on to E, we have bridges, the point, again under, upper, and heaven. This is heaven. Then this is E spawn. Lastly, again, that's windows. So next up, I want to cover general map strategies. So when the round begins on blue team, you need to communicate with your team either one of two things. So the maximum cap rate on any point in the map is ×5. So if your team needs you to be that ×5 on A, you should go to cap it. And when you're going to cap A, depending on the team you're playing against, some teams like to have their devilman sit up here and try to spam onto the point and buy a little bit of time for his team. When that happens, you can decloak right in this corner, and it's very likely to get an easy stab. Other than that though, you can just stand on the point, get your ×5 and move on. After you get the cap, or if you don't even have to go cap A, I would immediately go to point B. If you're coming from A, you can go through drop down, but if you're coming from spawn, you have to make it through this choke. The standard hold right now for red team on B is you'll have a heavy and a soldier upper, and then you'll have the demo man with the medic and the pyro in the choke area, and every now and then you'll find a sentry gun right here or a sentry gun back on nest. So your top priority is to find a way to clear this choke out for your team, or at least make it behind them. It's pretty hard to get through this choke, but what I generally do to get through it is I count the amount of stickies that their devilman is spamming at my team, and when he's reloading, I try to walk through, and I either run up to ladders or I hug the outskirts and I make it into this cubby here. From here you can decloak and try to go for a stab on the demo man, or You can try to get behind their medic. Maybe if the sentry gun's right here, you go for a sap. Anything that you do, you need to communicate to your team that you're in a position. For example, if there's snipers on ladders, you comm to your team that you're going for the sniper and have them push in as you get the stab. The faster they react to your stabs, or the faster that they create opportunities for you to get stabs, the more off guard the red team will be, and the easier it is for you to cap the point. If the engineer is placing his gun here, I would go for a sap and tell my team to push in with Uber. However, if he built on nest, then I'm much more likely to just go for a combo pick. Anyways, that's really all there is to be. And if you're unable to get a stab or really do anything on B, the best thing I could recommend you do is operate with your flank and actually push the A side. Because when you have your flank in lobby, it creates a dual pressure from the red team to deal with. And that way you can have your scout and soldier on the point while you back them up with a revolver. And winning flank exchanges is pretty helpful to your team. Additionally, you have another entry route to be through this beck. After B is captured, you want to progress with your team through C. Generally, the red team will be perched right here, ready to spam out anybody. They have their sniper right here looking down the hallway. If you can make it through here, do so. It's the fastest route to C. You can also wait for the door, which is right up here. And your last route is making it through E, either through back or through lobby, and then going down through drop down and emerging from under. The red team generally doesn't hold C for very long. They don't try to hard hold it because it's very susceptible to pressure on E. I won't be going over when your team should be pressuring the point, but responding to your team's calls and what area they want to attack is very vital to your success on offense. I find that if I'm hunting the red engineer, I'm generally helping my team a lot. Just killing the engineer and the sniper is all you have to do. And anybody else that you can pick is just extra. After C's capped, I would not recommend going through Death Hallway. It might be the fastest route, but it's called Death Hallway for a reason. The red team can peek from both shutters, and they essentially have invulnerability because they can always tap the resupply locker. As a spy, I think you should rotate back through. Back, you can make a jump right here to get onto that door frame and then get in the back. After you cap C, bridges start opening up to the point, so I would jump the bridge and get up on the heaven. On heaven, you can find their sniper or their engineer on upper, and they're generally a free stab. You can coordinate aggression with your sniper peeking this window, distracting their sniper, and you go for the stab, or at least poking at their engineer and forcing them to play passively. Then the red combo, they are generally either on D itself, holding in lobby, or they are by this little window where, by the E spawn, trying to defend the point this way. Assuming that they're in lobby, a couple good decloak spots are right here, right here, and right here. If they're holding by the E spawn, if you're able to make it, I would recommend decloaking right here or up here. And just going for whatever picks you can get. A big part of this map, just like any other map on Spy, is just calling what's going on to your team and having them rotate accordingly. But offensive Spy in general on this map is straightforward. Just listen to where your team wants to push. Switching to red team. So when you're on the red team and setup begins, you have two places that you could be. You could either be on A and just providing comms for your team of what's going on here, or alternatively, you could be on B and you're just doing the same thing. The rationale behind both I'll explain in a bit. My rationale for A is that when the round begins, you want to check what their engineer is running. If he's running the wrench instead of the gunslinger, then you know that he is going to set up a level 3 sentry gun. And level 3 sentries always wind up going in the lobby. So standing on A and providing comms for your team of what the engineer is doing is very helpful, because you don't want them to be caught off guard by level 3. And you also want to be in a position to counter that level 3 once it gets placed down. Additionally, even if their engineer is only running mini sentries, you can tell if the blue team is committing their entire combo to A and waiting for that door to open up, that they plan to push from A through E. Now, the rationale for B, which again is completely up to your team, is that when the round begins, the blue team might push their entire combo through the spawn and try to take out your sentry gun or the rest of the combo members on your team immediately. Being on B is not as necessary if your combo is holding here, but again, it is up to your team's request. So when you hold on B, if you can make this jump right here, it provides you with a relatively safe area to call out if the sniper is pushing up through this choke, if the demo man is anybody on their team. And you can just tell by their feet. And it's very hard for them to actually shoot at you. Most teams still do not know about this spot, even though it's been used for years. So when I'm holding B with my team, I just say, okay, the sniper's really close, he's at the door, or he's peeking from the half pack over there, or he's at the first spawn door. And all this information is really useful to my sniper because he knows exactly where to put his crosshairs. Taking away any element of surprise is just like giving your team wall hacks. Very useful. The alternative method is, after blue team caps A, you just sit behind them. You can kill any teleporters that the engineer puts up. Common teleporter spot is right here. Just sap it. Denying level 3 teleports is very big on this map. However, without B being captured, it's not too big of a deal. The best thing that you can do if you're noting that the blue team is aggressive onto the B point, or onto the E point, is you actually rotate yourself all the way across the map. So while the points aren't captured, these bridges aren't up, you need to bring yourself all the way through Beck, through the C spawn, and you want to swap to like the Ambassador and the Dead Ringer. These doors will be open, it's just that I've captured all the points. I can't actually go through there, so it's hard to really explain what I'm trying to do. But the whole idea is that there's a resupply cabinet past this door that you can just keep tapping, and you can come out onto this side of E, shoot anybody that's capping the point, and then dead ring back in. And you essentially cannot die. Unless you get headshot by their sniper, you are not going to die anytime soon. So you can constantly pester blue team on this point and single-handedly deny it in many cases. Because engineers and snipers, they actually like to come here as well on the blue team. So taking away this ground really nullifies any sort of E pressure early on in the game. Try that out in your matches and scrims if you have to. After the blue team caps B, this is where it kind of gets interesting for the red spy, because he can put himself in two places. He can either be by cliff and just denying C point, providing comms if anybody's pushing cliff, or he could be in lobby. And the reason why you want to be in lobby is, again, engineers will constantly build their teleporter on A and provide their team with their flank, in particular, with a fast route to D and E. I think I'm usually using the Dead Ringer on this portion of the map because with the speed boost and the chaotic nature of this map, it's very helpful because people can be anywhere on this map. If you get surprised without cloak, with the Invisilaunch, you're just gonna die. The Dead Ringer, if you get surprised, you can get away. And you can speed boost behind their team and go for the teleporter. Also, you are the only person that can consistently deal with a sniper in window. So I endorse going for A when you're on the red team. Also, when you're on A, you can always rotate down to B. But if you're playing on the B side of the map, you can never rotate up to A as a spy. So, again, when you're on red team, go for A. Go for A while they're capping C. Unless you've identified that their team only commits players through BEC, and the teleporter is actually on B. I think the general rule to follow is go where the teleporter is. That's where you're going to find people, that's where you're going to find the sniper, and that's where you're going to kill the sniper. D and E behave in a very similar way to C. Just take note of where the teleporter is, take note of where the sniper is, and try to kill both things. This map isn't too complicated for Spy. It's just understanding what your team wants you to do and executing that. I'll just be going over some decloak spots for the rest of the video, but the general information's already out of the way. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.